The following program is furnished by K1 International, LLC, and is responsible for its content.
KLIF News and Information, 570 AM, 96.3 FM HD2.
Now, from the fifth floor Cumulus Studios in downtown Dallas, it's time for Inside Real Estate. Here's your host, Michael Kruizinga.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Dallas, Fort Worth, Metroplex. As always, we're having troubles here in the studio because they don't know how to run anything on the other side of the glass. But hey, that's okay. But I tell you what, this is a professional radio station. I swear it is. 570 Cliff right here. They only put the best on the other side of the glass for us. They really do. Hey, good morning, folks. Happy Sunday. Mike Kruizinga here, your local realtor and host of the show. We got a lot to get into today. We really do. I wish I could say it's a lot more than just some doom and gloom but this past week. But you know what? There's been a lot going on this past week, and we're gonna talk about it. But our show is so very unique. It's one of really the only type that it's on the weekends that we talk about not only what the latest and greatest of what's going on out there, but also we talk about what we do for a living and things here locally as well. Obviously, I'm a real estate agent, and I help folks, buying and selling and investing in real estate. And, of course, all of our partners of the show that are in home improvement, insurance, mortgage, we talk about what we do for a living. We're trying to help the folks out there provide good information. But then also, take our spin on the latest and greatest and kind of a unique perspective there and voice of reason. So we hope you make it part of your regular Sunday mornings. We're here every Sunday morning, 8 to 9 a.m. By the way, folks, website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. InsideRealEstateRadio.com is the website. You can go there to connect with me on the real estate side, all of our partners, Richard in insurance, Terry in mortgage, and all of our home improvement partners. And then also catch all the archive shows on our archive page there on the website as well. And, we've got a lot of great interviews on there. We had the Crisis of Character author Gary Byrne on a few weeks ago. Great interview. We talked about a lot of things that, other folks that he's other shows he's been on, they didn't really kind of delve into the type of topics that we did, and I think we did a really good job. So it was a good interview. Check it out. And a lot of other great interviews there as well. Hey, social media, of course, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that good stuff. We're on all that, so you can connect to all that from the website. And if you're actively looking for real estate, you can always download our app as well. It's the DFW Metroplex Real Estate app in your Droid phones or your Apple phones. So have fun with that. So we're going to talk a little bit about real estate in this opening segment, and then we're going to kind of get into some other things that are happening in the world, and then we're going to talk to Richard as well. And by the way, hi, Richard. How are you doing?
Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm excellent. I'm having trouble with these stupid headphones trying to hear myself, but because my spot isn't working over here. I'm listening actually to Sam's headphones.
Yeah, I can't hear a thing.
Yeah, Sam can't hear. He can't actually hear the show at all. I mean, he can kind of hear us talking, of course, but
that's the thing. When you're listening to it on the radio station in your car or somewhere else, you don't really understand. I would hear the people talking about it all the time. I don't have my headphones. How hard can it be to hear the person across from you?
Right.
It really does make quite a bit of difference.
It does. It makes a huge difference. You want to know how you're sounding and how they're sounding, and that's the broadcast level as to what's being put out. And you would think, professional radio station, that they do an equipment check regularly on all the equipment, and like some of our mic lights, they don't work. You may not know if your mic's on or it's not, and so. I know back when I was running events, live events, and this is a live show, back when we were running live events for the NBA and the NFL and some big companies in sports entertainment, there was just standard practices and procedures for prepping all the live audio equipment. And I'm just surprised they don't do that here.
You're talking about days gone by.
Yes, professional days gone by, I guess. and the world's going to hell in a handbasket. So, hey, let's just, I guess, I don't know, sit back and watch it burn? I mean, what? I don't know. Hey, folks, talking about real estate a little bit more here. We've got a couple great listings that I just wanted to mention to you, a couple really beautiful listings. One out in Glen Rose. This thing's on, over 18 acres, got a 5-acre pond. It borders the Paluxy River and 205 on the other side. Just a beautiful, stately home, old-style colonial, just a beautiful, beautiful home. By the way, Glen Rose, just a shot south on the Chisholm Trail from Fort Worth. Beautiful property. This is not the type of property you usually see for under $1 million, but actually pretty good deal on this one. It's just south of $900,000. So you might want to give me a shout about that if you're thinking about anything that makes sense for you. Beautiful property. Another one we got over in Crescent. And by the way, Crescent has some of the lowest taxes in all of DFW area. Now, Crescent is going to be a little bit south of Fort Worth as well, kind of near Granbury. In fact, it's in the Granbury School District. A beautiful property. It's on about 2.5 acres, but, check this out, folks. Over 100 oak trees. Over 100 oak trees on this property, and it's only about 2.5 acres, so obviously thick with oak trees, just beautiful. It's got a beautiful black bottom pool, and this pool is just beautiful. It's got an amazing waterfall. Separate pavilion with a smoker. It's like one of these really nice pavilions you see at one of the really nice state parks, actually.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful property. And it's got a separate fire pit as well. Several areas that you can just kind of enjoy nature, enjoy the 100-plus oak trees on this property. And, not to mention, it's got $100,000 metal roof, the aluminum shake, beautiful roof, beautiful home. This thing's all on one floor, too. It's a single story.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge property. Just beautiful, beautiful property. It's a private gate. Of course, the community is gated as well. And then it's got a private drive. And
where's this again?
It's in Crescent, Texas, which is kind of like right near Granbury.
Okay.
It's actually Granbury ISD, close to Aledo. And so it's just a great option for folks who are looking for beautiful property, lots of space, but the low taxes. A lot of the folks that are moving to Crescent, it's because of the low taxes in Crescent. It's some of the lowest in the Metroplex. So,
well, plus, if you're on that side of town, and you know this already, if you're on that side of town, commuting to and from Fort Worth, if that's where you're working, is no problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
I had some family members that lived in Meridian, and that's normally about an hour south of Fort Worth, but I mean, no traffic whatsoever, ever.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't have rush hour traffic in Meridian, Texas, but
Right.
They would go back and forth. I mean, that's where they lived to commute, and because of the taxes, the fact that they could get a sprawling home with a lot of land and didn't have to pay an arm and a leg to do that.
Right. Yeah, and by the way, it's priced a little bit lower than the last time it appraised. They're ready to sell it. So great property. It's priced just south of $700,000. We're at $675,000 on this one, but it's when you see the quality of this home, it's worth absolutely every penny. And so if you're looking in that price range, look, if you work in the mid cities, if you work in Fort Worth, Weatherford, anywhere on the west side of town, Crescent's a great option for you. And like you say, there's no traffic down that way. It's easy. So a couple great, beautiful properties on the southwest side of the Metroplex, one in Crescent, one in Glen Rose. If you're thinking about anything in those areas, give me a shout. Hit the website, give me a call. By the way, if you do want to talk to myself or Richard here today on the show, you can give us a shout. And it doesn't have to be about real estate. It doesn't have to be about insurance. If you just want to talk about, if you want to vent about some of the things that are going on, in life and in the world today, then, hey, give us a shout. The phone number is 888-787-KLIF, 888-787-KLIF. Some of the things that we are going to cover in the show today, the coup d'etat attempted in Turkey. We're going to talk about what Gingrich had to say. about Sharia, and we're going to talk about Nice, and we're going to talk about a number of things. There's a Pakistani model who had lost her life to her brother. We're going to get into that. And finally, some sentencing occurred to these Vanderbilt, one of the Vanderbilt football players from a few years ago. This was sickening, reminding me of what happened with that. We're going to get into that in a little bit as well. Folks, I saw this coming in. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm going to ask you, Richard. You seen those McDonald's billboards, the latest and greatest ones, come and take it, and it's got their new burger on it?
Actually, no.
You haven't seen them?
No.
They're up. There's quite a few of them up. I've seen a couple of the commercials, and there's some billboards out, and it's based on the old "Come and Take It," the old flag that we had here in Texas with the cannon on it.
Right, the Gonzales flag.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. And it's been reused, in the NRA, and put a rifle on the front of a T-shirt, and the "Come and Take It" and whatnot. But McDonald's has used it, and a smart piece of marketing tactics, I think, for here in the state of Texas, because we all identify with that. But at the same time, I don't think I like it. Because it's almost, to me, there's some things you just don't do in marketing. And to me, that's almost one of those things you don't do. It's kind of almost sacrilegious, if you will.
You're almost going back to good old man syndrome over here. It was just like when Nike came out with the Revolution commercial.
Yeah.
And all the Beatles fans, and including the Beatles, were, "Oh, you can't do that. That this was about this," and relax.
I was fine with that.
So was I.
Try again.
But I would venture to guess that most people my age and younger have no idea what that is.
What it even is.
Yeah.
That's a good point. And so if they're shooting for that younger demographic, they're missing it with that marketing campaign altogether, aren't they?
And that's not to say that not everyone's going to know it, but I mean, a lot of those older messages, and like if you said, "Don't tread on me," where did that originate?
Right. And
I'm going to venture to guess that
they better not use that in a marketing ploy. I will be really ticked off if they do.
Oh, I would too. But I would be venturing to guess that maybe half the people don't know where that originated.
Yeah, I would agree.
So I don't think anything is out of bounds anymore for marketing.
Right.
I mean, when we were growing up, or when I was younger, let me put it that way. When I was younger, everything had to be extremely truthful. You had to show your research and everything and all that. And because you couldn't come out with the wild accusations of, "We've got this, we've got that, and this is going to be," and now we're back to all these tonics that cure everything. Mm-hmm. And it's just kind of marketing that they do. They just go over the top nowadays. Yeah,
they do. It's a little on the frustrating side. But I thought I would just mention that, because if you haven't seen it, these McDonald's advertising billboards, and they're doing the commercials too, it's the takeoff on the "Come and Take It" with their burger. Smart from an advertising side here in the state of Texas anyway, but they're definitely missing the younger demographic, because they're not going to have any idea what it is. And then you got the people like us who are like, "Yeah, it's kind of sacrilegious. Really, should you do that?" I mean, I don't go to McDonald's rarely anyway. I go for the McRib, when the McRib's in town, but that's about it. But anyway, that's that. Hey, folks, you know what? We're going to take a short break, then we're going to come on back. Hey, if you do want to give us a call, 888-787-KLIF, then get in the queue and talk to us, and we'll have some fun. Folks, short break. Come on back.
Attention professional sales reps, what does your future look like right now? Let me tell you what it might look like selling for some of the most recognizable radio stations in Dallas-Fort Worth. It's exciting. It's meeting new people. It's prospecting. It's creating a market plan for a customer and making it work. It's potentially very lucrative. It's taking your future into your own hands. Interested? Send me your resume. Richard.Lane@Cumulus.com. That's Richard.Lane@Cumulus.com. Cumulus is a drug-free workplace and an equal opportunity employer.
With over 3.5 million square feet and 5 DFW locations, Ideal Floors has you covered for all your flooring needs. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, laminate, wood, or vinyl plank, Ideal Floors has you covered. And with their price match guarantee and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, they are the absolute best in DFW for all your flooring needs. Call Kevin Hamus, the owner of Ideal Floors, at 214-789-0422 or go to idealfloors.com for all your flooring needs.
Folks, it's Mike Kruizinga here with Inside Real Estate Sports Entertainment on 570 AM KLIF. Did you know that virtually all of us will experience a fall in the bathtub at some point in our life? Well, statistically, it's true, and as we get older, a fall in the bathtub can spell disaster, as we just can't recover the same as we did in our younger years. Don't let something as silly and preventable as a bathtub fall put an end to all your special plans you have lined up for your golden years. Invest in a Hydrojet walk-in bathtub. Made in the USA and with the lowest step in the industry, Hydrojet walk-in tubs has your best interest at heart. With no commission sales staff or huge warehouse overhead, they build and sell direct to you, saving you thousands of dollars over their competitors. Call Randy, my friend and owner of Hydrojet walk-in tubs, at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com. You'll be able to speak with Randy directly, and make sure to mention you heard about it on the radio. And for you veterans out there, there's a grant available for you to cover the majority of the cost of a walk-in tub, making it darn near free. Call Randy at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com today.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey folks, we are back. We figured out what's going on with the headphone situation. We got a bad port right here. This port is bad. We plugged all of our headphones into this port, and this port does not work. So maybe for the next guys that are doing the live show, we can get that squared away for them. And there we go. I get my headphones up a little bit more. Well, let's, we haven't really talked about sports too much lately, and we didn't really get into it last week. A few things have happened in sports lately. Hey, Tim Duncan retired, a little while ago. We didn't get to talk about that. 19 years in the league. He actually just turned 40 back in April, and originally was a swimmer, and then the hurricane knocked the pool out in St. Croix, where he's from. And so he started in basketball, and thank goodness that happened, because we might not have had Tim Duncan. What else is going on in sports? Hey, Dirk, 2 years, $40 million. We saw that a little while back. We missed getting to talk to you about that. Durant went over to Golden State. What'd you think about that one?
It's sad that we measure everything by the number of rings that you have, and that we put the pressure on these guys you've got to have rings, or you're not going to be successful.
Right.
And
they're still getting the money.
Oh, yes. the days of, Dirk's a rare exception in the fact that he wants to stay with the same team.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to dance with the one who brung him. But most of the people, they're going to find the path of least resistance to get that ring. And I don't think Durant is any different from anyone else. It's what LeBron did. It's what Bosch did. Everyone looks for that way to get the ring. And wanting to go up against the best and beat the best is not as important as it was to us proving ourselves by beating this guy or that guy. It was, hey, we can do more together than we can just constantly going at it like Magic and Bird did, which those were fantastic battles. And I think that's part of what made the game great, was seeing Jordan fail so many times against Detroit, against the bad boys and all that.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, those truly great homegrown teams, I think, are a thing of the past. They're friendlier with each other now, where they don't mind joining forces to get that ring.
Yeah, it's less about team camaraderie and city pride, team pride anymore. It's all about the individual. The team sport has almost kind of gone out with it. Speaking like you did, Tim Duncan is rare, 19 years with one team. 5-time champion, by the way, Tim Duncan.
Yes.
And what a class act. He,
I never rooted for the Spurs, but I never rooted against Tim Duncan. I like him. I think he's a great guy.
Well,
and I don't know him, but I mean, that's the persona that I get from him.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to see, generally speaking, as much as you can in this league, a team generally stay together and play about the fundamentals. Just good, solid basketball is kind of nice. I mean, nothing too flashy, I mean, just solid work ethic. That's just the way it was down in San Antonio. And
speaking of fundamentals, what do you think about the rule change?
Which one?
The fouling somebody in the last 2 minutes.
Oh, I haven't heard about it.
If you intentionally foul someone away from the ball within the last 2 minutes of every quarter, the hack-a-shack rule, they get the free throw and then they get the ball back. So they're basically doing away with hack-a-shack or hack-a-whoever.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, that changes the whole game.
Now, granted, there is nothing more exhausting than watching 2 minutes of basketball take 30 minutes.
True.
I mean, that grinds it down to a complete halt where I don't even watch.
It does, but it is strategy. I mean, it's a strategic part of the game, long been a strategic part of the game. So I don't know. I have to think about that one. I'm not sure that I like it because, honestly, from a coach's standpoint, it's long been a strategic part of the game. Get them to the foul line and then get back, so you've got more clock, more opportunity to get back in the game when you need to.
Yes.
When you're down. So, you're right. It is going to speed up the game, but so basically, does that mean if you're just up by so many in the last few minutes of the game that you're just going to cruise on to the victory? We're not going to allow the opposing coach to.
No, you just can't have the ball. You can't who's the guy that we almost got from the Clippers? I can't remember his name. Anyway, so basically going in, you can't foul Shaq away from the basketball.
Right.
If he's nowhere around it, you can't foul him and have him miss his free throws, and then you get the ball. Now, if the ball comes into him, heck yeah, they're going to foul him left and right.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, it's open season.
Yes.
Well, I think we need to we're going to need to study that rule here, and we're going to have to get an official opinion on that by next week is what I do declare. What else we got going on in sports? Anything else? We're on MLB break, coming back. I think that's about it. It's kind of slow time.
It really is.
With sports.
Anytime that you look up and you see the ESPYs going on,
there
is
slow.
Nothing going on.
Slow time.
Yes.
It's baseball season.
Yeah, absolutely.
5 weeks till football.
It's ESPN trying to keep their viewers coming back to them because nothing is going on.
Yeah, it's we're looking deep into what's going on
Well, it's
with the UFC
time.
Or something. I mean,
it's a slow time when all the top 10 are baseball and Olympic trials.
Yeah, exactly. Woohoo, Olympic trials. Hey, folks, you know what? We're going to take a short break. Come on back.
Dallas Strong. Stand united with Dallas and 570 KLIF. Donate to the Assist the Officer Foundation at atodallas.org and help the families of the victims lost in the ambush against Dallas and Dart PD on 7/7/16. Your generous donation can make a difference to those who need our help and support now. Go to atodallas.org. A special message from Cumulus Radio and 570 KLIF.
With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin Team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731, 6730 Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032.
Folks, it's Mike the Realtor here from Inside Real Estate, and if you're not listing your property with me, bottom line is you're leaving money on the table. There are over 15,000 agents here in the DFW area, most of whom are part-time and do a few deals a year. Do you want to trust them to sell your home? I think not. Call Mike the Realtor, the radio realty expert from Inside Real Estate on 570 AM KLIF. Promise you will get to me direct. Go to InsideRealEstateRadio.com. Don't sell your home with just anyone. Go to InsideRealEstateRadio.com and connect with Mike the Realtor. With over 3.5 million square feet and 5 DFW locations, Ideal Floors has you covered for all your flooring needs. Whether you're looking for carpet, tile, laminate, wood, or vinyl plank, Ideal Floors has you covered. And with their price match guarantee and their 100% satisfaction guarantee, they are the absolute best in DFW for all your flooring needs. Call Kevin Hamus, the owner of Ideal Floors, at 214-789-0422 or go to idealfloors.com for all your flooring needs. The Richard Tonica Insurance Agency in Arlington has nearly unlimited resources when it comes to getting you the best insurance rates and policies for home, auto, and more. As part of the Goosehead Insurance brand, you, the consumer, have the power of choice through the Richard Tonica Insurance Agency network. Richard can quote over 20 A-rated companies to find the best fit for you, the best policy at the best price. Call Richard today at 817-286-2002. It's the Richard Tonica Goosehead Insurance Agency, 817-286-2002. Far from the shores of home, 2 African-American U.S. Army privates fight for their lives on the battlefronts of World War II. The first Black war correspondents fight to cover the perspective of the black soldier. The novel A Private War weaves all this and more into an epic World War II era story of friendship, conflict, religion, and redemption. Get a copy of Private War, a novel by Perry Cockrell today, now available on Amazon.com. And tune in regularly to Inside Real Estate Sundays 8 to 9 a.m. to hear Perry Cockrell, attorney at law, as he provides expert analysis of the latest and greatest in legal news.
We heard.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
Hey, folks, we're back. Welcome back to the show, Inside Real Estate. And, we can do all kinds of things here on the show, sports, entertainment, politics, and having all kinds of fun. Website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. And if you want to talk to us, 888-787-KLIF. And as you can see, we talk about anything, so whatever you want to say, feel free to call in, 888-787-KLIF. Okay. Staying on the sports theme briefly as we're getting into the doom and gloom of what's going on in the world today. Finally, there was the sentencing of the former Vanderbilt football player. Now, him along with several other players were involved in this. And we talked to Bill Wayburn, the likely next Tarrant County Sheriff, here on the show about this, about what's going on at our campuses, and why athletes, why the co-eds, why there's just a general atmosphere on university campuses nationally that just degrades women and just degrades the human life in general. And so if you know about this story, Corey Beatty was the athlete. Him along with a number of other athletes sexually assaulted a woman that was unconscious on the campus. And so finally he was sentenced. He was already convicted guilty. One of the other players was convicted guilty as well. His sentencing has yet to come, but Corey Beatty's sentencing did come. He got the lightest that was allowed, but it is 15 years. So the least he could get was 15 years, and he got 15 years. And there in Tennessee, he will have to serve all 15 years, which is a good thing. But going back over, and I remember the story from the past, but this brought it back into light. Folks, if you're not aware of this story, you should look it up, and we'll connect to it on our Pinterest page. As you know, there's a show page for every show on our Pinterest page, and you can connect to these stories, and that story will be on there. I think this one came off of, I can't remember which website we snagged this one off of, but there's a number of them. The full story is on there. You know what? You need to read this. If you have kids in college at all, particularly if you have girls that are in college at all, you need to read this story. The things that they did to this young lady while she was unconscious, and this was done by athletes, which almost makes it even more worse, because I know, when we were growing up playing sports, it was a privilege to play sports, not a right. And, we had to be fine, young, upstanding young men. And, this story makes me really, really angry. If you have college kids, you need to check into this story, see what happened. I mean, this stuff is happening, all over the nation at campuses. At least he's getting his time. I don't know that you'll need to read the story and get your own opinion on whether 15 years is enough for this guy. I'm not sure it is. I think maybe he should be in there a heck of a lot longer. You do these kinds of things. I just don't know where this mindset comes from to be able to even do something like that to another human being.
Exactly. And that's the part about it, that whole thing that gets me is, how can you just degrade someone or an individual so much to where you do exactly what you want to and don't really even give them a second thought? They're just there for your own pleasure and your own amusement.
Yeah.
And
it was in a group, and it just, I don't really want to get into all that right this morning on air, but you need to read the story, the things that they said and they did to this young girl.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, these guys need to be taken out back and shot. In my opinion, 15 years is not enough. So, but let's move on. But folks, you take a look at that. If you have college age kids, particularly women, you need to make sure that they're being prepared. Really do. I'm telling you. Okay, what else is going on? Hey, there was a man with an AK-47 who robbed a Waffle House here in Texas recently. But thank goodness we had a good upstanding citizen who was in there who was also getting robbed, but he did have a firearm on him, and so his better half was coming to meet him there at the Waffle House, and he was worried that she might, get caught up in this out in the parking lot. So he went out and confronted the robber and, took him down. So there you go.
Yeah, the Waffle House isn't someplace that I'm going to go stick up.
You didn't know that was a hot target.
Maybe he saw Pulp Fiction one too many times and decided that the breakfast place was a great place to hold up. But yeah, that wouldn't be my first thought to stick up a Waffle House.
Negative.
Yeah, well, and we know criminals are not bright, are they?
Some people,
by and large, they are not very bright. What else is going on? Let's talk about the coup d'etat in Turkey just for a minute. The failed coup d'etat. Now, Turkey is no stranger to attempted coups. There's been 5 or 6. In the last few decades. Well, really one every decade or so. There's a failed coup d'etat in Turkey, but democratically elected president currently. However, he's constantly been going towards the Islamist side of things. President Obama came out and said, let's support him as democratically elected president, et cetera, et cetera. However, many say that the Democratic election was pretty much a sham, and he kind of put away everybody that was running against him. But, things are very complicated in the Middle East with, factions of your populace that are in various very zealot modes as far as their religion is concerned. So hard to run a country over there at all with that type of atmosphere. But what I thought was interesting was Lieutenant Colonel Ralph Peters, who's often a contributor to Fox News, who never minces his words by any stretch at all. I mean, this guy's the real deal, and just comes out and says what he wants, like he calls it. And he just flat out said, he's like, look, I really wish President Obama had just kept his mouth shut. And he said, look, the guys that were running the coup, they're for democracy. They're for a secular constitution. They're against the Islamists. He's like, these guys are the ones that we should have been on their side. They were trying to save their country. And he pretty much just said, look, this was kind of a last chance, in this current age for these guys to get control of their country before it slides totally down the Islamist slope. And, talked about how much that administration, in Turkey is allowing terrorism and terrorists to run through the country. But again, we know it's very complicated over there when you have such factions that you do. How do you operate a country with, trying to make it more, bring it into today's age where everybody can kind of get along, but at the same time, you've got people that, are so steadfast in their beliefs that they're willing to kill, And so, for example, good example, over in Pakistan, Pakistani model, basically for just putting out some selfies with, now, of course, she put out some selfies with one of the religious leaders there, which is probably not a smart idea, but that got her killed. And guess who killed her? Her brother. So this is what we're up against. And so operating a country with that type of citizenry is difficult in any stretch.
Well, like we were talking the other day, and until you can sit next to somebody and that has a completely different viewpoint than you and hear their viewpoints and not get to where having some kind of anger or something is one thing, but when you're acting upon it, just because they have the freedom to voice what they think, you have the freedom to voice what you think right back. That doesn't mean that you have to turn violent or anything else, but until you accept their right to do that, you can't. How much do you really believe in freedom?
Mm-hmm. And I think in the Middle East, so much of what they believe in, that they don't want that everybody to have that freedom. Either it's our way, you believe in our practice of the Muslim faith, or you do not. And or can you imagine killing your sister?
No.
Over something like that? Some of these things that we talk about, it is just beyond me that this is even happening in reality, that these aren't things that are happening in books or on TV or in movies. But here's what Newt Gingrich had to say. And everybody knows that, look, Newt Gingrich, by far, in any room he's ever been in, he is the smartest guy in that room. Whatever room he enters, with whomever is in there, he is the smartest guy in the room. He came out and said, look, everyone with a Muslim background should be tested, and if they believe in Sharia law, then they should be deported. And he said, he goes, and this is in quote, this was on the Hannity show, by the way, let me be as blunt and as direct as I can be. Western civilization is in a war. We should frankly test every person here who is of a Muslim background, and if they believe in Sharia, they should be deported. Sharia is incompatible with Western civilization, unquote, and that's what Newt Gingrich had to say. And I think he's right that Sharia is incompatible with Western civilization because it does not allow belief of other faiths, and it doesn't even believe in the Muslim faith in a passive way. They're hardliners. You believe in it all the way. You believe in the fact that there are infidels and that they should be killed, and that if one of your females that's in your family does something wrong, you do kill them. I mean, that is Sharia law. That is, and that's what, and it's incompatible with our civilization. We don't believe that way. We believe here, in America, that look, you practice your faith, and that's entirely up to you, and we all respect that we all have different faiths and different backgrounds, but, they don't believe that. The hardliners do not believe that. And so that was very interesting that Newt, the smartest guy in every room, anywhere he's ever been, actually said that. So very, very interesting. And honestly, Newt is very careful when he chooses his words publicly. And this is a little bit more outside of what you might expect from Newt. But this is how polarizing what is going on, I think, in the Middle East continues to be, and how serious he takes it. So interesting that he would come out to say something like that.
Oh, absolutely. And, but choosing your words carefully. I mean, is that going by the wayside with politicians? I mean, look at the way that every campaign was done this year. I mean, it started off business as usual, but as Trump kept gaining popularity and saying more and more outlandish things, you saw other candidates start doing the exact same thing. And I don't think politicians play it as close to the vest as they used to. And I think that's all within this year.
Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe Trump has opened it up to where people can maybe speak a little more candidly, but it's all in which direction the media decides to blow the fire. Fan the wind, fan the fire. If they decide something is going to be what they're going to attack on, then that's what they're going to do. So, but I think you're right. Hey, folks, you know what? We're going to take a short break, then we're going to come on back. We're going to talk some insurance talk and maybe wrap up a couple of these other topics we brought to you. So come on back. With decades of experience, the Rocky Martin Supreme Lending Team will work to close your home loan in 30 days or less. With access to the most competitive interest rates, the most financing options, and the most access to down payment assistance programs, the Rocky Martin Team won't be beating service to you for all your mortgage needs, including purchase and refinance. Trust RockyMartin.com and his team for their reliable and fast loan process. Go to RockyMartin.com or call 972-772-1866 today.
For housing lender, NMLS ID number 211731-6730, Horizon Road, Suite B, Heath, Texas 75032.
Living in the DFW area, expansive clay soil and extreme weather conditions play havoc on homes' foundation. But thankfully, you can turn to Perma-Pure Foundation Repair of Texas, who has successfully repaired over 20,000 properties and counting in the DFW area. With the most trusted, tried and true foundation repair methods, trust the professional staff of Perma-Pure Foundation Repair to take care of your property, and most repairs are backed by a lifetime transferable warranty. Mention Inside Real Estate Radio when calling Perma-Pure at 214-637-1444 or when booking online at permapure.com for your Inside Real Estate Radio discount.
Adopt US Kids presents Multiple Choice Parenting.
You've accidentally cut your daughter's bangs unevenly. Do you A, line things up a centimeter from her hairline?
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
No. Sweatbands are so hot right now. Everyone's wearing them. Like that basketball player and that other basketball player.
B, get spiritual.
Mom, where did all the mirrors go?
A reflection could never capture our true selves.
Huh?
Beauty is within.
C, look on the bright side.
Less time blow drying, more time texting.
Or D, show empathy.
Mom, you really don't have
Ta-da! Twinsies!
I kinda love it. As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
For more information on how you can adopt, visit adoptuskids.org/TX. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Now back to Inside Real Estate. Here's Mike the Realtor.
What?
Hey, folks, we are back. How we doing out there? Website, InsideRealEstateRadio.com, InsideRealEstateRadio.com. A couple more headline stories we're just going to wrap up, and then we're going to get into some sort of insurance and real estate talk. Of course, we had the attack in Nice, and, born in Tunisia, but he was a resident of Nice. He was a delivery driver. The Islamic State had said that they wanted, they're always calling for people to attack, wherever they may be, and they even encourage people to attack with their vehicles. This guy was not one of their, inside house operators from what they say so far. He was just a guy that decided to take up the call and go out and do this. Now, obviously, there was some planning to it. They think there was the explosives in the truck, and they think that there was a more devious plan than what he did. But thank goodness maybe he didn't get to detonate those explosives. So hard to say if they're putting out disinformation that he was just someone that took up the call, because if you have explosives and those types of things, how are you getting those without help? So, but in any case, another act of terrorism, just grisly attack, running people down, 84 lives lost, and many more injured and hurt. But this guy was taken out at the end, thank goodness. Running people over for about 2 kilometers. Unbelievable. What else do we have going on here? I think that's about it on the headlines. Why don't we roll on into some local and show-specific stuff? Let's talk about insurance and real estate. And by the way, as you know, we've been talking with Richard throughout the show. Richard is over at the Goosehead Insurance Agency, the Richard Tonica Agency, and website richardtagency.com, richardtagency.com. And by the way, you can always talk to him, 817-286-2002, 817-286-2002. So let's get into some local information. Let's end it on a high note and a happy note. No more doom and gloom. By the way, folks, Richard has helped, my girlfriend with her insurance, better rates, better policies. And, he's doing this for people left, right, and center if you just give him a call and talk to him. So what do we got today, Richard?
What we're talking about today is people that are looking at purchasing an investment property. So if your 401 or all your other investments aren't working out and you're looking to invest in property and rent it to someone, you get what is considered a dwelling policy. And just like a homeowner's policy, there are many different kinds of dwelling policies. You can get a TDP one, which is a Texas Dwelling Policy one. It's going to be absolutely the best rate, but it's going to be the best rate for a reason, and we'll get into that in a minute. Then you've got TDP. You've got variances of each one. You can add replacement costs to the TDP one. Now, with a dwelling policy, I'm just going to say dwelling policy 1 or dwelling policy 3 or dwelling policy 1 plus. But with the different kind of dwelling policies, you're looking at having different things covered. For for all of them, fire, wind, lightning, hail, explosion, vehicles, and riot are covered. Whether it is a DP1 with replacement costs, DP1 plus, and a DP3, a dwelling policy 3 is the best one that you can get, obviously, out of the dwelling policies. DP1, the reason that you have to have replacement costs is because it's an actual cash value or an ACV policy, which is typically referred to. If you ever see an ACV on your homeowner's policy, it is a very bad thing. ACV, actual cash value, means that it is taking depreciation into account. So they are not going to pay you what it costs to replace something. And so it's all about what kind of risk that you're comfortable with.
Right.
But especially if you're talking about your own personal homeowners, if you have an ACV policy, please call me. Yeah. It's terrible, and I hate for people to be in that position because we all have budgets and we can all only afford what we can afford.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I mean, paying a couple $100 more per year or $10 more per year to get a replacement cost rather than an actual cash value is well worth it, because all it takes is one claim and you see how worth it is.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you a question. On the actual cash value versus replacement cost, how does that impact on the auto side? Is it can, because I know oftentimes you see mostly cash value.
On an auto side, it is always actual cash value. You can get new car replacement, and I love these commercials from certain companies, Liberty, saying that they're going to give you a new car if you have an accident. Well, they are if you pay more. It's an endorsement that you add to your particular policy, and you can't add it at any time. It has to be a new car.
Okay.
And it's usually good for about 18 months. After that, it goes away. And so it's not for the life of your policy or however long you have your car. It is for a set amount of time, and each carrier is a little bit different. But yes.
So you're never going to get replacement cost on an auto.
No.
Yeah.
It is always, I mean, when they talk about depreciation on your auto, I mean, it's always going to be there on an auto policy. Well, not always. You can add that endorsement if you buy something new, but after the 18 months,
there's a clock on it.
Yes, and it's going down, and yes, it's, but it's not that $30 a month policy either, though.
Right.
I mean, it's not going to be the most expensive thing in the world, but yes, I mean, they're going to cut their. I mean. There is a premium added for that endorsement.
Fair enough.
But when you're looking at the dwelling policies, so let's go through a typical dwelling policy. With a DP1, you're not going to get water damage. So if you have a pipe burst in your house, which we've talked about, 80% of your claims are going to be water related.
Right.
So
not smart.
No, but I mean, it's going to be the best price policy. Yeah, it's not going to be the best policy, but it's going to be the best price policy.
Yeah, and investors, like you said, it's up to them to take what kind of risk they want to take. Now,
if you spent $10,000 for your investment property, I mean, it might be worth it to you. One of the things that I look at when we're looking at your rate and what endorsements to add on. I mean, the amount that you paid for your house is a determining factor on what kind of endorsements that you put on it. And that's part of me getting to know you and going through the proposal process is to, what are your risk tolerances? What are you comfortable with? And where do you see this? How long do you plan on having this particular property, and or what kind of history do you have with this particular property? Because a lot of that plays a part in it.
Yeah, and it's all about your return. Maybe if it's a tight property and you have limited return, maybe it's a you might want the bare necessities, policy. But if you've got, most everybody should be getting good return on properties they've had for a while at this point. I mean, the rent demand is so high and the rent is so high right now. They should be doing pretty well. So should be able to cover themselves all right.
Well, I've got some customers, and one that I think of off the top of my head, they've got multiple properties. All of them, they've never spent more than $20,000 on. So they don't have very many endorsements on their properties at all.
Right.
All they really wanted was replacement costs. So if something happens to where they have a total loss, they get the total amount that they're insured for. If they have a water claim in their house, that's out of pocket for them. But that's the risk that they're willing to take.
Yeah, and it's their strategy, and everybody's different.
Yes. And with a DP1, you're also looking at vandalism and malicious mischief. So if your house is vacant before your tenants move in and they come in and spray paint and just destroy the place, with a DP1, you're not covered. With a DP3, you are covered. Or a DP1 plus, you're covered. But simply adding on the replacement cost to a DP1 still doesn't make you covered. And so a lot of people may think that, I've got a dwelling policy with replacement costs, or DP1 with replacement costs. That's going to do what I need it to do. Well, no, it's not.
Only for catastrophic, basically.
Yes. And those people, and I have people that look at it as, I only want my insurance for a total loss. Anything else, I don't care. And that's them. You can add additional perils to a DP1 that will cover you for up to 95% of anything that's going to happen. So water, sudden and accidental would be covered with a DP1 plus. But if you're going with a dwelling policy 1 with additional perils, you might as well just make that transition to dwelling policy 1 plus, because it's giving you everything, including replacement costs. A dwelling policy with additional perils may not give you replacement costs, where with a DP1 plus, it is automatically included.
Okay.
so is vandalism and malicious mischief, and so is, but I mean, the absolute best one of them all is the DP3. It gives you everything: the weight of ice and snow, falling trees. Vandalism and malicious mischief is also known as VMM. It also covers you for foundation, without an endorsement with certain carriers.
Okay. Well, folks, look, it's if you're an investor out there, you own properties, if you're a property manager and maybe you're looking out for your clients, and you need to get them with the right person. I would highly recommend giving Richard a call. He's going to save. Look, investors, we're always looking for ways to save money, but do the right things and cover our properties in the right way. Highly recommend giving Richard a call. He can take care of all of your investment properties, duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, multiple single units, apartments, etc. Give him a shout. RichardTAgency.com is the website. RichardTAgency.com is the website. His phone number direct, 817-286-2002, 817-286-2002. It's Richard Tonica of the Goosehead Insurance Agency right here in DFW, right in Arlington. Give him a call for all of your insurance needs. Folks, hey, inside real estate, sports, entertainment, politics, everything and everything. Back here next Sunday, 8 to 9 a.m. See you then.
Folks, it's Mike Kruizinga here with Inside Real Estate Sports Entertainment on 570 AM KLIF. Did you know that virtually all of us will experience a fall in the bathtub at some point in our life? Well, statistically, it's true, and as we get older, a fall in the bathtub can spell disaster, as we just can't recover the same as we did in our younger years. Don't let something as silly and preventable as a bathtub fall put an end to all your special plans you have lined up for your golden years. Invest in a Hydrojet walk-in bathtub. Made in the USA and with the lowest step in the industry, Hydrojet walk-in tubs has your best interest at heart. With no commission sales staff or huge warehouse overhead, they build and sell direct to you, saving you thousands of dollars over their competitors. Call Randy, my friend and owner of Hydrojet Walk-in Tubs at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com. You'll be able to speak with Randy directly, and make sure to mention you heard about it on the radio. And for you veterans out there, there's a grant available for you to cover the majority of the cost of a walk-in tub, making it darn near free. Call Randy at 855-980-8827 or go to hydrojetwalkintubs.com today.
The preceding program was furnished by K1 International LLC and is responsible for its content.